They say some moments don't announce themselves with fireworks. They arrive quietly, so softly, you don't realize you've crossed the line until you're too far to turn back. I never imagined one quiet question from my nephew would unravel the life I thought I had under control. It's been 2 years since that night. 2 years since Noah, my late sister's only child, stood in our kitchen and asked, "Aunt Claire, would you say yes if I told you what I really wanted?" I still hear those words clear as day. And I still wonder, how did a moment so simple shift my entire world? I wasn't seeking anything. I had a life, a husband, a home that looked pristine from the outside. But loneliness doesn't knock loudly. It seeps in like water through old wood, slowly, quietly. I had learned to smile through dinners eaten in silence, to fold laundry while Daniel scrolled his phone beside me. I was a wife in name only. Touched out of obligation, seen through routine, loved in theory but never in practice. Then Noah arrived. My sister's passing had been cruel and fast. Cancer, the kind that doesn't give time to prepare. He came with grief in his eyes and a single bag in his hands. 19 and utterly lost. Of course we took him in, it was the right thing to do. But no one prepared me for what would come next. The first weeks were quiet. Noah was polite, grateful. He'd help in the kitchen, sit with me during coffee, linger longer than he needed to after dinner. First it felt innocent. It was innocent. I was just offering comfort. He was just trying to find his footing. But something changed. He began noticing the things no one else did. "You always make this place feel like home," he said once as I set the table. Words Daniel hadn't offered in years. Noah saw me, not as a wife fading into the background, but as a woman who still had warmth, still had a heartbeat under all the silence. And that terrified me. I caught myself waiting for him, changing into softer clothes, staying longer in the kitchen, just in case he wandered in. I tell myself it was nothing. But every glance started lingering. Every smile carried weight. Every accidental touch stayed on my skin long after it ended. Daniel never noticed. Or maybe he just didn't care anymore. One rainy Saturday everything shifted. I was cooking dinner, my small comfort ritual. The house smelled of rosemary and roasted potatoes. I was stirring the stew when Noah walked in. Hair damp, shirt clinging to his chest. His presence filling the room like electricity. "You always make things feel so warm," he said softly, and I turned to thank him. But our eyes met, and something in the air thickened. I reached for the peppermill, brushing his hand. It lingered. And when I looked up, he was already watching me, not like a boy, not like my nephew, but like a man who saw a woman. Froze. Then his voice again, low and steady. "Aunt Claire, would you say yes if I told you what I really wanted?" My breath caught. The kitchen faded away. All I heard was my heartbeat and the storm outside. I should have said no. But I didn't. That one yes, unspoken, invisible, changed everything. After that night I couldn't stop thinking about it. I told myself it was the grief, the loneliness, the need for comfort. But deep down I knew I wasn't just giving, I was taking too. Taking the way his eyes lingered. Taking the warmth in his words. Taking the attention I'd starved for, even if it came from a place I shouldn't have wanted. It wasn't about desire. It was about being seen. And I was scared of how much I needed that. One night, Daniel was away on another business trip. The sky opened up again. Thunder rolling like a warning. I sat on the couch, an old film playing half-heartedly. Then I heard Noah's voice, soft, almost afraid. "Movie night." He nodded. Told myself it was harmless. We sat on opposite sides of the couch. But the distance between us didn't last long. As the movie played, we shifted closer. A hand brushed against mine. Our eyes met during a quiet scene where the mother and son on screen clung to each other in grief. I looked over. Tears streamed down Noah's face. Without thinking, I wrapped my arms around him. "This is comfort," I told myself. "He just needs to be held." But the way he leaned into me, the way his hands clutched my sweater, his breath caught against my collarbone, This wasn't safe anymore. This was something else. Something dangerous. Still I held him. Longer than I should have. I wish someone would hold me without letting go, he whispered. And my heart shattered. Because I knew that wish. Lived it. I stroked his hair. Whispered, I'm here. And then he looked up. And our lips brushed, barely. But it was enough. Not a kiss, not really. But enough to break everything I thought I'd kept under control. The next morning I woke up in silence. The rain had stopped, but the storm inside me hadn't. Noah was gone. A note sat on the counter, out for a bit. Back later. No Aunt Claire. No warmth. Just distance. I stood there, shaking, the night replaying in my mind. That single moment. That single touch. That single unspoken yes. And I realized, some lines aren't crossed in grand, dramatic ways. They slip beneath your feet in the quiet, in the small moments, in the places you thought were safe. I used to think I knew who I was. Wife. Caretaker. A woman doing her best. But now all I know is that one quiet yes can echo for the rest of your life.